Hi everybody, Radical Gardener, how are you? Where am I looking? I'm looking here straight ahead. Sorry about the horrible attempt at doing a live feed, but I've got someone that's going to walk me through it so that, it isn't such a mess and I know what I'm doing. So you can kind of see in the back here that I'm in a RV park. It is so cool. It's called Beulah Plantation, and it has all these old growth trees. I think you can just see some of the trees, but it's just beautiful. There's a heated swimming pool, there's bike trails and walking trails and a dog park and a community center, and they're just really chill here. What I really like about it is that it feels like it's the fringe of society. There's like 3 different sections here. You can rent cabins. You can just stay overnight, or have a temporary site, or you can have a permanent spot, which is what I have. I have an RV. I don't know if it's ever gone anywhere. It doesn't look like an RV, but it is one. It used to be one. I don't know how long ago, but it's really unusual. I mean, it has tons of windows. I'll just kind of turn this around. I'm not done hanging pictures and everything, but you can just see it really looks like a little house. It's the kitchen in there. So it's pretty big. And I mean, I got everything in here that I needed to. So it was, it's really an exercise in tiny living, especially from what I came from. As you know, I had this huge house. I just couldn't take care of it anymore. I worked my butt off on that garden, as you know. It cost money, but it just was too expensive. And I even tried remortgage the house, and it was only going to give me $100 less a month. It just wasn't doable. So I had to jump. And I saw this darling house that I wanted to move into, but the numbers weren't coming out right. So 5 days before I moved into that house, I pulled the plug. I said no. And I mean, a whole set of miracles started to happen. Because really I was basically homeless. So I found this place. Was it that day or the next day? I just came to the park. My friend Lindsay and I were driving up and down. We saw this woman with some pants on that said, "Make America Great Again." So we asked her if she knew a place that was for sale, and she pointed at the RV that was right next to her. I mean, what are the chances? So I paid cash for it. I paid the lot rent for the next year. All my utilities are paid for, so I'm basically living like with no bills. But I did make an investment, and I bought a brand new Scope Dodge 500 Ram Scope small RV, because I'm going to be traveling and doing therapeutic sound besides working at the health center, which I was just hired to work at here in Palm Coast. So there's a lot of changes. It was really brutal when it was going on. There was so much going on every day, trying to manage it all. And of course, then I had Larry, and Larry was not an easy dog, a great dog, a fantastic dog, but he was a hound. He's part hound, and hounds they are what they are, man. And it made him a real character, just smart, fun. I mean, I've just never had a dog like that. And so it was like giving a human away. It was horrible. But I just couldn't do right by him, and then I got really sick, and I just couldn't even walk him. I mean, it was just awful. So, it was a lot of changes, a lot of heartbreak, leaving the house that Joe and I, bought together, and we lived in together, and then, I sold the car. That Joe loved that car, and I sold that car, and oh my God, it was just, and I never really grieved Joe, and so that all came up, and it was, and I had to put Torty down, one of my cats down. I'm telling you, I actually lose track when I tell people. Now, this isn't anything that others don't go through. I really think I was kind of a weenie, because most of my life has been, it doesn't feel like there was ever any real drama, though I'm sure there was, but things just have been pretty easy in my life. I didn't lose a lot of people in my life. There hasn't been a lot of death in my life. And so, it was just my turn in the barrel. And, there's no way of handling things. You just have to go through it. So I did. And then, of course, because I had no buoys, I had nothing to hang on to. I gave away almost all my furniture, and I was giving away throwing away like albums with pictures in it. I mean, and I really didn't want to keep all that anyway. But because I didn't have any, I'd gotten rid of so much that was a part of my life, I just felt lost. And so I'm in this house, really sick, and hating the house, just hating it. And so I said, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. All I could think of was Michigan, and just be with some old friends, and really go back and grieve Joe, and just stuff like that. So off I went, my little Ford Explorer, and I hung out with Gretchen. We did a sound healing workshop, which was amazing. I love doing those. And I was up there for 3 weeks. Thank goodness she put up with me and 2 cats. I brought 2 of the cats with me. Then my girlfriend Lindsay, she babysat the other 2. So, yes, didn't you go on a road trip? Yeah, coming back in the RV, they really dug it. And then I stopped and saw some friends on the way back. So it was really cool. It was a road trip, and I needed to take it and get out of here. When I came back, I absolutely loved the house. So I just needed some time to acclimate. So yeah, I mean, that's just bringing you up to snuff. So what am I going to be focusing on here in the next few days and talking about how there is so much noise pollution in our lives, and it really deters us from connecting to a deeper subconscious self. Everything from always playing the radio, having sound on in the background, all those kinds of things. And like right now, you can hear my air conditioner. You can hear that, like, that's noise pollution, right? So, and I found when I was on the road that everything irritated me. Like, all the music was really irritating me. And I'm around healing music most of the time, so I mean, that's not a surprise. But then I just started singing to myself, and I want to talk about that and talk about where that can lead and why that's important. It's the next piece of my work. I also want to talk about how I'm going to set up some pots here and do some gardening and grow some vegetables, even though I'm in a really small space, but hey, what else is new? So yeah, there we go. Anything else that I need to touch base on? Man, how about those Canadian truckers? Who would have thought, eh? Wow, eh? Now Australia, Denmark, Bulgaria, Brussels, where else? United States. It had to come from a country where we least expected it. And that country's that far from communism, and that country was going fast. They no wonder they're upset, So it had to come from people we would think of as passive, because we know how big this really is. Can't you just feel it's all ready to crack? It's amazing. Yeah. Cool. It's it is a great time to be alive. I know there's so much madness, and you just have to disconnect because there is so much madness. But I've never seen a time or known of a time where people are waking up as fast as they're waking up. I'm really glad I'm here. I wouldn't have told you that a month ago. I mean, I was really down. I thought, do I really want to be hanging out here anymore? I mean, not suicidal, but, I was just like, come on. And now I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's see what's next. And that's another thing. I had an eye infection. Of course, that's liver. Liver is grieving. And so I couldn't read. I couldn't read at all. It's over now. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And let's move on and talk about things that are much more interesting and keep our frequency high and be there for each other. This is so important. Let's be there for each other. And even the ones that don't think like we do, we don't think like they do, it's time for us to stop being polarized. And I you know what? I have to fight that every day. Every day. I'm certainly not. I have a lot of work to do. I slip all the time. See, it's easy to slip. It's easy to slip. So anyways, okay, everybody. I love you madly. Radical Gardener, from my garden to yours. May your garden always grow. And I am sending you a ton of love.